I'm Randy Lindquist, and my company R3 Services, we do the video production and the multi-camera switching for the high holidays.
My name's David Smith, and I do a lot of the audio stuff for CBI. Basically, my role is to make sure that your clergy and your musicians are heard and heard well.
What is something you want the congregation to know about what you do, maybe why you do it?
Yeah, the process. I was thinking about that. The thing that I would want people to know about what happens behind the scenes is how much work and effort actually goes into the filming and also the experience for everyone. And Rabbi Jeremy and Rabbi Navar's, there's so much thought that goes into everything from speaker placement to monitor placement to where the lighting is going to be for certain, and there's specific people in the congregation that they're thinking about. It's not just as a general group. They're thinking about so-and-so and so-and-so and what's going to be good for these people, and there's so much thought that goes into it. It's not just, it doesn't just happen. And that's what I really love about it. And those are the kind of things that I would like the people I wish they would have the opportunity to notice them, but it happens behind the scenes, so it's nice that they don't see it, and I love that part of it, but it would be nice if they could just take a little quick fly in the wall and notice what's all happening, because it's really special. It really is.
Even with my church stuff, is you learn the songs, you learn the flow of the service, and what I really appreciate about the synagogue in particular is it's very copy paste from week to week. Not to say it's not different in certain ways. There's different styles of services, but the consistency of the format and learning, the melodies to the songs. So in addition to being a sound engineer, I'm a musician. That really helps because you're able to pick up on, hey, we're throwing Heidi Gantwerk a solo, or Jeremy's coming up, or there's, some interplay, some counterpoint between the voices and the violin, or the violin and the cello. And so one big thing, like I said, is you get, we strive for consistency, but there's also the consistency from musicians and from clergy, and developing, that consistent experience is kind of a both ways situation, and it can actually benefit you versus going up and setting up a show and doing it in like 2 hours and then striking and moving on to the next town or whatever you're doing.
When you think about the many years that you've done High Holy Days here, are there any moments that kind of jump out, like particular memories or experiences?
The first time when the shofar was being blown, for me, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know where it was happening. I just suddenly heard something, and from a film perspective, I'm trying to find where that sound was coming from. And I was just, okay, whoa, what is that? Where is it? And after doing it a couple of years, it was great to be able to preemptively get that shot and feel like people are right there and they're looking over their shoulder and they're seeing it for their perspective. So shofar is definitely one of my favorite memories of just that happening. Also following the Torah, moving around the room, and trying to bring the camera in so people can feel like they're there with it, and just kind of bringing that experience. That's one of my other, those are probably my two favorite moments. Yeah,
there's just too many of those to recall, and that's just the nature of the work we do. 99% of the job is problem solving, and 1% is the rest of it, right? I think that's part of what makes this line of work very rewarding and very very fulfilling. It's one of those environments where it's so fast paced that you get feedback. If you do this enough, you get good feedback, but you can sort of test yourself and grade yourself and constantly get better.
Your day job is doing AV for Shadow Mountain, and I also know that your kind of weekend gig is playing in a rock band and doing audio for other things as well.
Yeah.
How is your approach different for, say, the High Holy Days, different than, you know, a rock concert in the park?
A lot of times as a sound engineer or even a musician, it's hard to sort of get out of the headspace of you want to perform your best and you want to have an awesome sound. Now that's part of it. I do think, especially when it comes to things like house of worship and thinking about worship, well, what is worship actually? And so worship, at least in my estimation, my opinion, is it's not, you're not pointing the attention to you, you're taking sort of the collective, I guess, energy, not to sound too new agey, but you're taking the collective kind of worship of the congregation and you're pointing that up towards a higher purpose. So in this case, you're funneling that to God, because the point of worship is worship of God, right? At least in this context. So a lot of times when I'm mixing, I have to kind of think, okay, how do I make this so that it's not super distracting? And again, it goes back to that consistency point, but also how do I be the best, do the best that I can, because I want it to be the best. I want it to sound good for the congregation, but I don't want it to be distracting. But at the end of the day, you have to realize that it's not all about you or all about the music. The music serves a higher purpose. The music is not the purpose. The purpose is worship. So therefore, when we're working with what we have, we are directing that attention towards the worship and towards God.
When I'm preparing to do video work for the High Holy Days, it's a much more, as I've mentioned a lot of times in emails, it's a much more elevating experience and it's a much more uplifting experience. And when I'm preparing for it, I look back on the previous year, the year before that, on what's been done in the past, what could I do better, what worked, so that whoever is watching it can feel like they're there and they're participating as closely as they can. So for me, it's not just, I never go on autopilot. I never just assume that what we're watching is the best opportunity. I make the reference, it's kind of like Gene Kelly or Fred Astaire on the keyboard. It's just, I'm constantly just looking for what's a better shot without pulling away from the special feeling that's there. So it's not just supposed to be just camera, but I want it to be where if somebody was there and they would like to be a little bit closer or be a little bit further back to take it all in, what would I want to see and how would I want to feel? So it's a lot of feeling. It's a lot of looking for the right emotion. By far the most special and the most uplifting thing that I get to do for video. Absolutely, hands down.